Hey there, everyone. It's your girls from Obscure Orations. I'm Taylor. This is the lovely Dana with me. So,
Howdy.
we're going to be trying to put out some more content for you guys. And in order to put out some more content, we've decided that we're going to talk even more about things that we love. And starting this week, and I think it's for the next 7 weeks following, we will be doing like little mini, I'm going to say like mini reviews, I suppose, of House of the Dragon.
Let's
So,
call them episode recaps.
oh yes, not that I can say that. Apparently, I can say obscure orations, but episode recap, and I'm like episode recap. What are you doing? I don't know. My mouth says no. Um. So I don't even know where to start. The episode for me was good, and just in case anyone who's watching this, just know that there's going to be heavy spoilers in anything that we talk about. There is going to be heavy spoilers, and we will try to remind you guys before we get into it.
Right. So if you haven't watched the episode yet, stop watching this video, go watch the episode, then come back.
Yes, because like I know where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the opening scene for Queen Alicent, the Queen of the Greens, with Sir Kristen Tonguelot.
Good Lord.
Just him being betwixt her legs, and just that being the opening scene for her, having that moment of
Betwixt.
right. I was going to say I like when I get to use these words once in a while. But like that, I legitimately yelled at the screen. I was like, "What happened to your chastity vow? You said."
I see. I didn't even go that. I wasn't even like thinking Chastity Vow from last season. I turned and I looked at my husband and I was like, I knew they were gonna bang. I knew it at the end of last season. I knew it. He's like, why are you yelling at me?
You're just sitting here going, I told you last year. He's just sitting there going, I'm just trying to watch the show.
Well,
Like,
because there was 2 years in between the seasons, basically.
yep.
So we rewatched season 1 last
Mm-hmm.
week in preparation for season 2. So
Yep.
that's like I picked up a lot of things that I missed.
Right, me too.
And I was like, God damn. Now I'm thinking I should go watch Game of Thrones for a third time, see what else I might have missed.
I would say I've seen Game of Thrones a couple times, and there's still like every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, how did I miss that the first time? This is some bullshit.
Well, look at perfect example of Game of Thrones was you telling me that Pedro Pascal was in the show. I'm like, the fuck he was. And then when we rewatched, I'm like, God damn, there he is.
Mm-hmm.
So, because to me, he was a minor character. I didn't care about what they were doing. I was like too worried with what the Lannisters and the Starks were doing. Like, I didn't give a fuck what he was doing. Fuck you, Martell.
He's like a principal character in it. You're like,
Nah,
screw
not
that
today.
guy. Not today, Pedro, but later on, I'll catch you again.
So yeah, it was. I enjoyed watching the first season of House of Dragon again
Mm-hmm.
to pick up on those little nuances that I missed the first time around.
Well, and I know that there's going to be things that I'm going to miss again, even with this new season. That I'm like, okay, I'm trying to focus. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to be focused on this. I'm going to catch everything, and I already know. Like there were several, like there were conversations going on. That I'm like, no, 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 miss that one too. Miss that one too. Son of a bitch, I missed that one too.
Now, so at the start of the show, which was called A Son for a Son, episode 1 was called A Son for a Son. Fair enough, because we know what happened at the end of last season. Spoiler alert. I was very shocked to see Rhaenyra's son at the wall with a Stark.
Right?
And especially when he was like, well, winter's coming. I'm like, Jon Snow, is that you?
I didn't like. I don't know about for you, but for me, when I was listening to I don't even know what the Stark's name is, just Stark. Um, but when he
Lord
was
Stark.
yes, exactly, Lord Stark of the North. Um, when he was talking, I was sitting there, I'm like, kind of sounds like Rob, but he kind of sounds like Jon. It's like, okay, is one of them narrating this? I'm not sure now. But then just getting to see a fully operational um wall. I don't know. Like people are going to hear that and be like, "Well, yeah, walls. They hold up buildings." Like just the
No,
wall of
no, like
ice.
the elevator. So you gotta remember, House of the Dragon is 200 years
Mhm.
before Game of Thrones. That fucking elevator was still working. So that, like, just the mechanisms of that,
Mhm.
right?
Right. I
I'm
was like
like, oh, damn.
between seeing that and seeing them being what would essentially be fully staffed is just mind-boggling because you think about it, once you get to Game of Thrones, they like that's one of the issues is that no one wants to take the black anymore and go join the Brotherhood. Whereas this is like, oh yeah, him the Lord Stark, where he's like, yeah, I've got about a couple
Keep
thousand
talking.
graybeards you can have. And I'm like, oh, okay, so he actually has men he can spare. He's like, yeah, it's okay, we got too many. You can have them for your war. It's like
Your
how
whore.
how many men do you have who've taken the black who you're able to be like, I can spare a couple thousand men and still have plenty of them for the wall. Like that is drastically different than Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and again, the foreshadowing on the when
When they like look over the wall and he actually gets to see the true north.
yeah, and young Valerian says, "Well, Princess Rhaenyra needs you to come fight." And he's like, "No, we have to protect against the things on the other side of the wall." What
Hmm.
other things? Like, right, cocky, right? And he's like, "Well, wildlings and other things." And then young Valerian was like, "Whoa!" And he's like, "Death." And that to me was a big foreshadow of
Hmm.
the White Walker.
Oh, 1,000,000%. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens. I'm like, oh wait, no, I know what happens.
What's gonna
When
happen at the wall? Oh wait,
it's like,
never mind.
I think I know the answer to this already.
My Zeus is here with us, and he's driving me nuts.
He's just like, hello, I have things to say about this week's House of the Dragon. So let's talk about the meat and potatoes of the episode. The part that led to the end and was changed from the book. Now, I'm sure a lot of people have seen the videos going around comparing Blood and Cheese, what happened in the book compared to what happened in the TV show. And while I know that they changed it, I had a realization the other night when I was talking to one of my other friends about it. And I was like, you know what? It occurred to me because George R. R. Martin is involved in making the TV shows and obviously writing his books.
Right.
And her and I talked about it last season where she's like, you know, there's there's changes that happen between the book and the TV show. And she's like, it's so weird. Like, you wrote the book. Why would you change the TV show when you're the one who wrote it? And it occurred to me the other night, I was like,
Makes sense.
well, it makes it like I was angry with her until now that I've read about the first 100 pages of the book. I was like, it's literally written from the point of view of someone who wasn't always there for the battles and everything that ensued,
Right.
but someone who's just documenting what they've heard and actually trying to like be a scribe and complete the histories. So I was like, if you think about it, there could be the argument made of, well, this is hearsay. This is like the show could be what truly happened, Whereas the historization is what I'm going to call it now, apparently, of the show could be here, the book is this, but the show is showing the truth. Or it's like,
Right.
okay, I kind of like that aspect to a certain point, but then at other points, I think, like, Blood and Cheese, they probably sat there and went, oh, that's too dark for us to do. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna
because incest isn't.
no one gets hurt in incest. The brothers, the sisters, the niece daughters.
I mean, so let's think about it. When we see the Targaryens in Game of Thrones, they've all got that long silver blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's 200 years of inbreeding to keep that silver hair in the family. They gotta run out of relatives at some point. Before it's dad hooking up with daughter type thing, or mom hooking up with son.
We need to keep it in the family. Two in the family. Two in the family.
Listen, this isn't the deep south, okay?
Ding, 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 ding. You're like, no, this isn't okay. But one of the things I'm kind of sad that they haven't done, or that they didn't do, was that Rhaenys, the queen that never was, she's supposed to actually have dark brown hair because her mother, if I remember correctly, is a Baratheon. And what it's actually supposed to show is that the Baratheon gene actually overpowers. It's so strong, it overpowers the silver hair, purple eyes.
Which would explain why Rhaenyra's three sons have dark hair.
Well, which is exactly. Well, yeah. Had 3, now there's 2. Soon to be fewer. You're like, she has 5 kids overall, because the one was a miscarriage. And then she's got the 2 with Daemon, and then the 3 with Lord Strong. So it would have perfectly explained it away. And I'm kind of sad that they didn't leave her hair dark, so that way then it'd be like, hey, there's legitimate reason for her kids to have dark hair. So
yeah, because in a way it doesn't make sense. She married into the Targaryen or the Valerian family. How the fuck she get white hair? I mean, other than getting old, but you know what I mean?
Rhaenys is, her mother was Baratheon, and then her father was, I think, Targaryen. So that's where the white hair is supposed to come from, according to the TV show. But in the novelization, it's literally
brown.
It's because they even talk about it.
Now he wants it again.
It's one of those things where it shows the connection between Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon. Because if you think about it, when what's his face there, when Eddard Stark is going through the list,
what's his face?
Yeah, Ned, what's his head? When he's doing that research, so looking for all the bastards from Robert, all of it says whatever, born with crown of dark brown hair, like all the way through, until suddenly you get to Cersei, who is like born with blonde. I was like,
Yeah, that's because she's banging her brother.
And you're like, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not your child.
I question the paternity.
Yeah, I'm not thinking them's your kids. You got a bunch of others, but not with her. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the season goes, just because Blood and Cheese were the one that everyone was looking forward to. Like, we all wanted to see how that happened, where it's a son for a son. Now, mind you, for any of our listeners who don't know, it was originally supposed to be like, there was never, Aemon was never involved with it. They were legitimately, Daemon's like, yeah, go kill the kid. Find Jaehaerys and kill them. Like, that was it. And in the book, that's exactly what they do. They go, they find him, off with his head, as the Queen of Hearts would say. And that was the end of that. Now, mind you, again, in the book, very brutal, everything that they go through. But I suppose for TV purposes, kind of good that they kept it where it was, and the way that it kind of brought a close to the season opener, where it's just Helena curled up on the floor, just
While her
rocking with.
mother-in-law's banging Sir Kristen.
That was just. I don't even
Yeah,
have words for
this
that.
could never happen again until later on tonight.
Yeah, this can never happen again. Oh, okay, one more time. One more time. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm excited for more dragons. Well, I'm excited and sad because
Yeah.
I know more dragons means that they're gonna not make it.
So, we see Damon collecting dragon eggs.
Hmm.
Does that mean that they're going to have more dragons than Queen of the Greens?
So, from what I've read, just because I haven't read the entire book, um, the ones that he's collected either never hatch, end up being the three that Danny gets later on, almost 200 years later.
Oh,
And
maybe they
then
have a long incubation.
I was going to say, it's just really long. This one's just not meant to be yours. um, so he ends up getting a an older dragon, the one that he was singing to at the end of season 1.
Right.
I think it's like Veramoth or something like that, or something like Vermouth. Close to that, but not exactly. Um, but he ends up taking him into battle and not bringing the one that he was bonded with. So I'm excited to see that, because that's going to be one where it's literally two dragons who have known each other since Aegon the Conqueror was around and destroying all of Westeros back then.
Right.
So this is going to be them coming back in an epic battle, and that's supposed to be like one of the most epic battles in the book. So, and it'll also have heartbreak. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready for this season. It's been
Okay,
2 years.
so speaking of heartbreak, as a mother, that scene where Rhaenyra found the dragon wing,
Oh,
and I'm like on the couch like this, right? but wow, what an emotional impact, because like you absolutely feel her pain. Absolutely feel her pain.
From the moment that you see her and just her puffy red eyes, the emotions, how pale she is, how drained looking she is,
Yep.
and just the frantic way that she even climbs down her dragon mount to go look at the wing, and just the moment when she's holding, I think it's the cloth, like that, just, oh, right to the damn heart, right to the
Yeah.
damn heart, because she just falls and then just bawls. It's like, can we just say the actress who plays that part, I don't remember their name right now, but they do an amazing job. Like, the
Yes.
portrayal of Queen Rhaenyra is just sheer perfection to me. Like, just
Right.
from the casting point, from how the character's portrayed, all of it is just amazing,
Now
spot on.
I don't know how much digging you do on social media, but I've got a lot of free time. And so the UK had their premiere a week earlier than we did. I know, bastards. Anywho,
I'm mad now.
at the premiere, the individual that plays Rhaenyra who is gender fluid, goes by they, them, had a fucking grill on their lower jaw that was dragons. I was like, oh my God.
I think I saw something about that. Oh, now I gotta look that up.
I was like, if I was gonna wear a grill, that'd be the one I'd wear.
Then I'd want to go up to people
And start biting people.
Exactly.
See my grill.
Exactly. You're gonna respect my authority. I am Cartman.
The young king. I'm at a loss for words, because you talk about throwing out shades of Joffrey. Holy fuck. He is as arrogant and as nimble-minded as Joffrey was in Game of Thrones.
He is, and yet at the same time, like, I don't think he's evil like Joffrey is to the same degree. I think that he's a spoiled brat for sure.
Given.
But I think that he like the way that he was interacting when his grandfather or grandsire, the hand came up to him, was like, you can't give that man his sheep back, because he was so genuinely ready to give that poor sheep herder his
sheep
sheep
back,
back.
yeah.
He was like, "Oh yeah, we should give him back. You're right." And he was like, "Really? Thank you, Your Grace." His grandfather walks up. We can't give it back, or all of them are going to want it back, and we need to feed the things. And he's like, "Okay, on second thought." Then when the blacksmith came up and was like, "We need money up front," and the best part, my favorite part, was when he shut his grandfather down right then and there. Lord, what's his face there, Flaming Hightower, starts walking towards him, going, "We have to pay you because you're the people who will make the difference if we win the war or not."
God damn it, he's right.
It's like, yeah, go fuck yourself, Grandpa.
But, like, it's so like okay, so the lines are connecting now from season 1, even in just that first episode of season 2. The lines are connecting where you see Lord Hightower's vision from like episode 2 of season 1, where there was grumblings of the king should remarry, and he was like pushing his 15-year-old daughter on this old man, basically. And I mean, I get it, back then, yeah, you were 10 and getting married, 12 and popping out a kid, provided you had your period. So Alicent's rise to where she is, so queen cohort to now queen mother, basically, right?
Or so yeah, I think the term's dowager queen, dowager mother, or
Yeah,
dowager
something
queen,
like
I
that.
think, something like that. Yeah.
It just like it all makes sense. Lord Hightower wanted to rule the Iron Throne, and the only way he could do it was through this. So he figures that he stays as his grandson's hand.
Third king.
Chirp, 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 right? And it, as much as I hate that shady little fucker with Cain, who, oh my God, does he not scream Littlefinger to you?
I was going to say yes. It's like he wants to be. He's like a cross between Littlefinger and Lord Varys, the eunuch. Where it's like, okay, because and you know what I'm wondering is that, like, these are all supposed to be the precursor people to those. Like, I think he's supposed to be the precursor Littlefinger, so to speak.
Yeah.
What was she called? Was she the White Worm? Was the madam of the brothel there who was trading and all the
Oh,
information.
yes.
And I realized this time watching through that they kept referring to them as her little spiders walking everywhere, going and getting information. I'm like, oh, that's what Varys is called.
But like when he said to the king, well, he basically whispered in the king's ear after that whole debacle on the Iron Throne where Grandpa Hightower was like, you can't do that. When he whispered to him, he's been the hand for 3 kings.
Mm-hmm.
You should have your own hand. Talk about applying for the fucking job.
Right. First off, he has access, unlimited access, to the Queen Mother, who now he magically gets to pick all of her I don't want to say maids, like house
handmaidens,
personnel.
basically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, pretty well like her handmaidens and all that. Oh, I chose staff. That's the word I'm looking for. I chose your staff for you. Don't worry. They'll know to let me in next time.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure he's probably paying the staff extra to relay information for him.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I mean, look at season 1. She was betrayed by her own. I don't even remember the girl's name, but she was one of the handmaidens who was like, "Oh yeah, did you know that she's one of the girl's spiders?" And she's like, "What?" It's like, that's right. All the information you've let her be privy to has now gone flying back to the spider web. Way to go. Oh.
I wish I could remember his name, that little crippled man. The one yeah. Anyway, okay, so Damon going and paying those 2 guys,
Cheese and blood,
to go and kill the king's firstborn, basically. Son for son. I would have thought, and this is just me, I mean, I'm not George R.R. Martin, I'm not in his head, and I've never read any of the books, but I would have thought Damon would have been more apt to say to them, kill the king.
I had said the same thing, but I mean, I kind of said even the same thing the second last episode of season 1 when Rhaenys goes and gets her dragon. Like, that part still gives me chills every time I see it, where she goes and she just pops up from the ground. The beast beneath the floorboards. The beast beneath the floorboards. Now that I know to listen to Helena, I'm like, oh, that's what she was talking about the entire time. That's a really big beast. But when that part comes up and all she does, I want to say her dragon's name is like Mycenae or something like that, something close to that.
Yeah, for next week, you know what? I will do the research and I will find all the dragons' names and who they belong to.
We won't be. I'm going to tell everyone right now. We won't be able to pronounce them, but we will try.
No. I never said we'd be able to pronounce them. I said I'd find them.
We have my
slow your roll.
But when she didn't just set fire to the entire royal family, it's like you could have prevented the entire war. Just roasted them all alive, been pardoned by Rhaenyra, and everyone would have gone on about their lives.
Oh, absolutely. But then again, we wouldn't have season 2.
Exactly.
We would need season 2. And who's to say that Game of Thrones would have happened had she done that?
There's several things that when you're like, if it's like that meme that you see people where they're eating something on the couch and they're like, if I were there, this is what I would have done.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you like watching a Survivor. That's not how you do it while you're scarfing down Doritos.
Exactly. You got that exactly.
I've been there.
I think we
More
all
than
have.
likely, though, it was popcorn for me, not Doritos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Uh,
I mean, all in all, it was a good episode. I'm like so pumped for episode 2, and I'm
mhm.
going to be really sad at the end of 8 weeks because that's 8 episodes, and that's not right. We waited 2
2
years,
years.
Mr. Martin. 2 years. This needs to stop.
I wholeheartedly agree. I hope that the next one will come out sooner because I'm putting it out into the universe. There will be no more strikes. Everything's going to go smoothly and everything's going to come to us faster.
I am manifesting peace.
There's peace for everything. There's peace all around. Happiness. TV shows a lot.
Peace within Westeros.
Ooh, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Ooh, full. The universe is like, could you ask for something else? Because I can't do that.
Look, lady, I can give you unicorns, but don't ask for peace.
I could give you a flying pig. I cannot do what you're asking for, though. There will not be peace in Westeros ever. Even when they're like, oh, there was a peaceful reign.
No.
Meow. It's peace-ish.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to enjoy the next 7 episodes. The gathering of the armies, the getting the allies, and seeing how the war comes to light, who survives, who doesn't, and just that general, like, I mean, it basically like the finale of Game of Thrones, right?
Yes.
Who lives and who doesn't. Although I think when I decided to watch Game of Thrones, I was talking to Mark from work, and yeah, because they were in season 4 when I started watching it.
Yep.
I had like 4 seasons to get caught up, and he'd drive by on his jet, and he'd be like, "Have you watched it yet?" I'd be like, "No." Well, we'll talk when you do. And he'd drive away, toot toot. But I remember saying to him the one day I'd crewed down, and he was like, "Are you leaving early?" I'm like, "Yeah." So you know what? I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna start Game of Thrones. And I remember him looking at me and going, "Don't like nobody because they all die at the end of the season." I was like, but he wasn't wrong. He was not wrong.
I would say it's true. You watch all of it and you're like, I really just need to stop loving people because the ones that I love die.
My love kills you.
It's gonna be exactly it where you're like, just withhold your love where you're like,
yeah, because like by episode 3 of GOT, I was like, oh my god, I love Ned so much.
oh,
And
Ned.
they behead Ned. Oh, Ned. poor Ned.
You poor son of a gun.
So yeah, I do. I look forward to the gathering of allies, the head on, and the who survives and who doesn't.
Yes.
Again, like I said, I've never read the books, and for me, of course, Team Rhaenyra.
Team Black all the way. Team Black all the way. Down with the greens.
I really hope that for once the good guys win.
So once we're done this in a couple seconds, I can help fill some of that stuff in for you.
Atta girl.
So I know that we went long on this one. We'll use this as our opening one. So we will split this probably into 2 separate videos, maybe. I'm sure there's some way. I know there's a way to do it on the TikTok. Maybe ask.
Are we longer than an hour?
No, less than.
Well,
definitely
then
less.
we're good.
Oh, okay.
Because TikTok, you can only upload a video that's 59 minutes or less.
Oh, well then we're good.
I did my TikTok research.
When you didn't, my multi's not working again. It stops every time.
And I mean, huzzah to us! Thank you to all of our people out there. We are at 400 followers.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone.
So
we appreciate it.
we are getting close to being able to go live. Live!
That's
It's
fantastic.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday, people. I'm home alone. Bear with me.
We're like, what are they doing? Don't ask questions.
I can't even say I'm drinking because
It's just the normal Wednesdays.
it's the heat. It's very hot here. The heat is getting to me.
Don't mind the AC. It's still the heat.
And so our next video though will be a video that we take at the Highland Games on Saturday. We are going to attend the Highland Games in our little kiss on the earth, bringing Scotland to us until we get to Scotland.
Which we will do, by golly.
I mean, we're buying a castle, for fuck's sakes. We're moving to Scotland. So yeah, our next video will be coming to you from the Highland Games, and then on Sunday, our special guest is the owner operator of a haunted wedding venue. So definitely join us for that one if you are like into the paranormal fun stuff like we are.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for this fabulous episode 1 recap of House of the Dragon. We hope you enjoyed it, and remember, spoiler, spoiler, spoiler.
For every single one of these episodes that we do, spoilers.
And that's why we're waiting till Wednesdays to do them, to give you all a few days to watch. So, all right. Enjoy the rest of the week, everyone.
Ciao, everyone.